If you think it's sloppy, don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Hey everybody. Welcome to those of you who are here for the first time, and welcome back to my longtime supporters. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're working on a 20-ounce skinny. This one is a tapered. And we're going to do a glitter ombre to start with. Now, I haven't painted this. It has been sanded. This actually was a reconstituted tumbler. It went to the strip bucket, and it has now risen from the ashes and is ready to be redesigned. So, I've mixed up, I don't know, what have I got here? Probably, I don't know, maybe 10 milliliters. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to do the epoxy method of applying my glitter. My glitters are going to be Sun-Kissed from the Glitter Horse store. And I have a mix here that is Sun-Kissed, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this is Mocha. And this one is from Michael's. It's, I believe, the Spinnet glitter, but it's a fine glitter, just the same as these other two, or as this one. So I've mixed that together, and my ombre is going to be of these two. So it should be pretty easy to do the ombre on it. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to, let me just get this on here. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to put any of the Mocha by itself. I am going to be using clear Waterslide, and we know that that doesn't really work out very well for a clear Waterslide to have a dark background. So I'm probably not going to use it, and I'm not going to show you the Waterslide until I get to that point. So now I'm just smoothing on some of my epoxy. You don't need a lot for the glitter to adhere. So I'm just smoothing out as much as I possibly can. Well, I'm smoothing it out to be thin as much as I possibly can, is what I'm trying to say. I think I'm going to do the center first with the Sun-Kissed. I'm going to pour this on and let it fall down. And just a little more through the middle here. Holy moly, that's pretty. I'm going to pour this back in before I tap off. Okay. And just tap it down and get the excess off, and we're going to let this set up and epoxy it. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks darker in the camera than it actually is. So we'll be back to put our water slides on here. Okay, I've cut out our water slides, and I'm just going to start throwing them into the bath that I have over here. I have my trusty little squeegee. This water slide paper, I did three or four coats of clear gloss on here. And the nice thing is that it was a really nice day yesterday. Those layers dried really quick. I had somewhat warm water in my container. Somewhat has now turned to a little bit cooler. You know, it took a little time. All right, and I can see that it's going to take a little bit of time to get these off of the backer paper, so I'm going to put a couple in there at a time. That way we're not waiting forever. And I'm going to put these in different directions. They're not all going to be the same on here. So I just wanted to point that little part out. And yes, I'm looking for it to be understated, which it looks like it's going to be, and I'm not getting any of the white. But if you did this on a white tumbler, of course you're going to get your white flowers. But like I said, I was looking for more understated and somewhat elegant. Okay, once this dries, I may bring you back and we may do a little bit of filling in here. We'll see. We'll see where we end up. Hang in there. Our water slides are dried. And as I look at it, although I like it, I feel like it really is missing the white dots, the white in the design. So I'm going to attempt to do some dot art to kind of fill in the blanks. I just feel like it needs it. So, though I may not get these perfect little tiny flowers that are here, I will be filling in the dots as much as I can. As far as the shadowing around the mid part of the petals here, the shadow that goes around, not sure how I'm going to achieve that, but I'm going to try. So this is going to be a multi layer process, and I'm going to start with, I've got linen here that is kind of an off-white by Folk Art, and then I have Rich Espresso by Deco Art, and it's a metallic, and I feel like that might go well with this, but I also have Black Pearl that I think might make a nice background to the small dots, just the outer ring and then put the linen in there, and then maybe top that off with some pearl white by Folk Art, and that's a metallic too. But also in the middle of these flowers is like, it looks like a little rhinestone. And I know that I don't have rhinestones big enough for that. Mine are very, very, very small. So it's just going to kind of look wonky if I use a rhinestone, although it would be pretty. I think I'm going to try to do the pearl white in the middle of those. So to get started, I have several different dotting tools and whatnot, because I do fool around with that too. I also have dowels that I've cut and I've used for dotting, and this one here seems to be about the size of the petal, so that would be more for the middle section here. But I also have, let me pull over my, I have this caddy that has a fraction of my paint brushes and dotting tools and whatnot. So I may go fishing through there if I need to. I thought maybe I could use this small sponge blending tool for in here, just for the outer ring. So I may do that. So I think that's where I'm going to start, is with that, because that has to be dried before I can put the white on. But if I get that part done, then I can move on to the white. So as it goes. So I still think that, you know what, I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because there is a little bit of the copperish brownish that's in there. This is not exactly the color that I would use if I had something just a little lighter than this, and I don't have that. I have tons of these, but I don't have that color. So I've got over here for my paints, I've got this acrylic resin puck that was resin that I didn't get out of a large pouring bucket quick enough. And so I'm going to put it to work. I've used it before on other videos, but hopefully you can see that. I don't want to leave that drop on there. Okay. And we're going to commence to trying to do this. Now, I did not epoxy over top of my water slides. So, I may be sorry, I may not. I don't really want a lot on this blending tool. I just want to leave a slight shadow around the outside edge, not necessarily in the middle. So, if you're in for the ride, we're going to have a bit of a haul here as far as getting this done. I'm just cleaning the middle part of this out, hoping that that's going to allow, yeah, there we go. Okay, so you may not be able to see this very well, but I think that it will show up in the end fairly well. It is changing the color in there, which this is what I wanted. And then when I put the white in there, that espresso will show up. And this doesn't leave a ton of paint on here. So I hope you can see the difference. There it is with the paint, there it is without. You see the difference? So it does show up. If you think it's sloppy, don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Okay, I've put a little bit of the linen onto my puck. I'm going to mix a little bit of white. This is wicker, actually, which is not a white, I don't believe. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there and mix it up and see what we have. I think that's going to accent it much better. And once everything starts getting those colors on there, I think we're going to be happy. Stay tuned. We will return. Okay. After some time here, actually I worked on it a little bit after I went away the last time here, and then today. And this is what we have for the finish on. Get this where you can see it. This is what we did before. Okay. Now, you'll notice that the petals have a little bit of shading on them. And I'll tell you in a second what I did. However, when I did the rest of this, I used a different method to fill in the big flowers. And all I did was I used a Q-tip, and I only used my white paint. And because I did it thinly enough with the Q-tip, and I'm just going to pretend like I'm doing it. Say this has very little paint that has been mixed with water, and I just kind of brushed it in. Now these have 3 layers of that watered down paint to make these petals. And then I went ahead and did all my dots with the white, because I discovered that this shading that you see here, which really was kind of what I wanted, is done with alcohol ink, and I used Tim Holtz Ranger for that. So yeah, I have a little bit over here on my resin puck, and it's dry because I tried it out, and then I just let it dry. So I'm going to show you what I did. Now, this one's not going to match these exactly. However, I'm going to try to blend it as best I can. I do like the gold in the centers here, and I want to leave those. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to accomplish that with this. And because I didn't resin this before I did all this, it's not like I can scrape that up. So, you know what? We're just going to carry on as we carry on. But I'm going to add accent to these, and I wanted to show you that. These are all dry. They should be pretty dry. I did them a while ago. So I don't really want to lay it down because, you know, paint. I do want to show you, though, the similarity between this and this. I think we did okay. I think we done good. I'll compare them again after we get some of the alcohol ink on there. I do have alcohol in this container, and I think I'm just going to drop it onto that dried alcohol ink. We know it'll reactivate it. So that's what I'm looking to do there. And let's just pick any one of these. And I'm going to show you how I'm just going to come in from the outside edge, and I'm just going to lightly tint the white that I have in there. And I think that gives a nice enough shadowing or dimension. I'm not sure what word I'm looking for, but it does set it apart from just being white. And I'm going to do that. Hold on. I needed to concentrate so I could get the top off of this. I know. I'm going to do this on the smaller, like the berries as well, but just enough to kind of give them a touch of something. So there, hopefully you can see that. I don't know why it looks so dark on my camera, but, and like I said, I just want to just barely touch them and leave a white part to them so that it kind of shows as a highlight. So not all of these small dots will have very much of this alcohol ink on there, but if it, you know, if it comes off on them and kind of blends a little bit, I think that's fair enough. So yeah, there we have it. I'm just going around the outside edge of this again, dabbing it. And that's what I intend to do throughout the cup. So I wanted to bring you back for that. And I'll finish out this one here so you can see the whole process. That was relatively quick putting the ink on here. I want to try to show you as close as I can without blurring everything out. You see the outside of those petals is kind of darkened in, but not so much that you can't see them. I wanted to point out the fact that when I did these petals with the Q-tip, that it made it look more like petals, and you'll see that. I'm going to come around to the first one that we did with the dotting tool. You see that it looks kind of manufactured, and I can't get that off of there. I know. I did darken in the middle a little bit with the ink as best I could. So now I'm going to bring you out a little bit. Because I want to do a close-up of the original and the hand-painted one. I think we got really close. I'm pretty pleased with this, and I can't wait to get this finished so that you can see it. But yeah, Thanks for hanging in. This was not as hard as it seems like it could be. You can do this. Don't tell yourself that you can't, because if you don't try it, you don't know. So we'll be back when we have this completely epoxied, and yeah, we'll have a tumbler. So stay tuned, folks.